Hello, fellow readers. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm going to be tier ranking all of the books that I read in 2021. I love tier ranking videos, no matter what they're about. So I'm very excited to finally be making one of my own. Let's get started with the tier ranking. The different tiers that I have, starting from the bottom to the top, I have the first one as chicken.
Cualquier cosa que no te caiga bien.
Chicken!
So that section is like just my cute children books. The next level is, oh my God, ew, David.
Oh my God, ew, David! David?
These are just any books that like I just actually didn't enjoy. The next one is Mariah Carey. I don't know her.
I don't know her.
Books that they're forgettable. I can't remember what happened. Like, I don't know. They were forgettable. Next row is, come on, guys, let's get it together.
Come on, guys, let's get it together.
It's just any books that there was something missing. Like, it wasn't like it was bad. I enjoyed my time reading it, but like there was something missing that just made it so I couldn't put it higher on this list. You know, again, still very good books, just not higher on the list. Next one is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Cool, 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 cool,
Cool.
And that is any book that I like really enjoyed. It was a good book. I enjoyed my time reading it. Thought it was cool. This next one is I Love You, Bitch. I Ain't Ever Gonna Stop Loving You, Bitch.
I love you, bitch. Oh my God. I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
And books that I really enjoyed reading, and you know, there is a possibility I'd read it again. Like I enjoyed it that much. They just weren't top tier. So my top tier ones are She's an Icon, She is a Legend, and She is the Moment.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
So these are, like I said, my top tier books. Absolutely love them. They are perfection. My heart, my soul, my everything. She is the moment. So those are my different tiers. So let's get started right away. All right, so just a note, this is now my third time filming this video because I just keep filming it and starting to edit and realizing that this is like way too long for what I'd like to post, and I'm sure for like what you guys would want to watch. So I've modified it a little bit. I've put in a majority of the books already, just that I don't have, you know, like a lot of unique opinions, or I feel like they've been over discussed this past year, or, you know, just in my opinion, they were pretty mediocre and don't need a lot of time to discuss. So I've added all of those already in here. And what I'll do is I'll go through the remaining, I don't know how many these are, like maybe 50 or something, and tier ranking those. But I just wanted to give you like a whole look at everything I've read this year and not really skipping anything. Plus, this is kind of like a time capsule for myself. So I really wanted to be able to include everything in here, but I just didn't want it to take hours and hours and hours. So that being said, I've already walked you through the different tiers, and I think I'll just give you a quick summary of what I've already placed. So up here in this I Love You bucket, I have a lot of the books that I've really just enjoyed this past year. So for example, I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I feel like has been already talked about quite a bit, so you probably don't need that much information about it. I have a couple of like more sci-fi books here with Beautiful Foolish Endeavor and Dark Matter. I wrapped up the Diviners series, and while Diviners definitely would go in the She's an Icon, She's a Legend, She's the Moment, I felt like these books I read them so quick after each other that I feel like I probably just got worn out a little bit over time. So they're not like top tier, but I still really enjoyed my time. I love the audiobooks as well because they have like music in there and all the like accents and voices. So would highly suggest listening to the audiobooks as well. Next, I have some books that came out in the current year or last year, and again, I feel like they've been kind of over talked about, but I really enjoyed them, so they're all going to go right up here. And then over here, I have anything with Magnus in it is definitely going to get to my heart. So these are right up here. Um, just super adorable. Love those. So next in this cool bucket, we have quite a few like romances that I enjoyed, but just weren't too brand new, such as Duke Actually, Dating Plan, Bringing Down the Duke, books like that. Lore Olympus, because this was a reread and I already like read most of it on Webtoon, it just ended up fitting in this bucket better. Lots of books that I really enjoyed. A couple like graphic novels with Raven, Beast Boy, Legend, Princess, Nimona, all like really good books. Brightly Woven, Fangirl, these were all graphic novels. Really enjoyed the artwork, just maybe it was a retelling or the story didn't capture me as much as some of the other graphic novels that I read this year. Moving on to the Come On Guys, Let's Get It Together. I have quite a few romances that just like didn't hit the mark for me. Like could have been something else to just like make it better for me, in my opinion. So, we have lots of those like By the Book, The X Hex, Instant Karma, Verona Comics, spoiler alert, Princess for Christmas, The Proposal, To Love and to Loathe, Wedding Date, etc., etc. A lot of these, like I said, they were good. There was just something that I was like, hey, it could have been better if maybe this happened, or like, there was one little aspect that was missing. A couple more really cool graphic novels, just I felt like the story wasn't capturing me as much, which is like Ghost in LA, Paper Girls, Username Evie. This fun series, while I really enjoyed it, I was I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if they gave us some more of their lives rather than just like all of the scenes are in this like fencing training or fencing competition area. And so that's the only thing that I was like, maybe if that showed me more of their lives outside of fencing, I would have enjoyed it more. In the I Don't Know Her, I unfortunately have quite a few books that I'm like, I feel like I enjoyed my time reading, but at this point, I just don't really remember what happened. All right, in this OMG Ew David bucket, I have quite a few books that were just not my jam. Then this bottom section is just all the children's books. Obviously, I was trying to get through quite a few series during this year. So you can see this big line of Twisted Tale books, which is like Disney movies, but then they take one part or one aspect of the story and twist it and then kind of write about here's how the story would have gone if this one thing was different. Next Disney one is this Villain series, and if you enjoy like the Cruella or Maleficent type of movies that they've been coming out with recently, then you probably would enjoy these books. They are like basically the backstory to the different villains, so you get like a deeper look into their history. Next, I was trying to get through some Rick Riordan books as well, so a lot of the Percy Jackson books, and then started the Trials of Apollo as well. Now I will get started on the books that I have yet to rank. So I think these are in alphabetical order, so I'll just start and go with it. The first one is In Every Morning, The Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. If you want to just like cry for an hour, like pick up this book. It is so beautiful and heart-wrenching and just it's heartbreaking, but beautifully done. So I would suggest this book is basically about like a grandfather who has dementia, the father, the grandson, and the grandpa, and like how their relationships are changing. And it's just heart-wrenching, but beautiful and adorable. And I cried the entire book. It was so good. Anyways, would highly suggest. It's so short too, so like definitely worth the, I don't know, hour that it takes to read. So good. Anyways, the next one by the same author is Anxious People, and this one is going straight to the top as well. It's just such a good look at, you know, interpersonal relationships and, you know, how one mistake can change your life, but should it? And I don't know. It's just very, very good. It's nice to see the relationships like unfold and like grow between these different like unrelated people. And I don't know, it was just a good time. I would highly suggest. Very good. And this one, sorry if you enjoyed it, but I'm taking it to OMG you, David, because I went into this thinking it was going to be like a rom-com type of book, and then it was kind of like a mystery thing instead, but it wasn't even like a well done mystery. And so I think it was a mix of my expectations being different as well as, no, I think that was it. I think it was just that my expectations were so different, so this book let me down so much. So I'm sorry if anyone enjoyed it, but that's where I'm at. Next, The Bride Test. Similar to Big Summer, I just had like different expectations going into this book than what I was given. And so it really let me down. And I know these books are really popular, and I'm not writing off this author by any means for the future. I'm still very excited about reading her other books. I think it was just like this story did not mesh well with me, and I'll tell you why. There were times in this book and like just quotes and whatnot that were basically like, I need to serve this man, or like, I need to make sure he's happy, and like that kind of feel. And while I could see that that was very relevant and like it was understandable for the story, and this book has a lot of other good parts about it for like representation and whatnot, I just did not want to necessarily like read a story about like I want to be super submissive to my man and like make sure he's happy and serve him and whatnot. That's just not like what I want from my rom-coms. So while it was like a fun story, that just like one aspect really bugged me. And like I know later in the story, she like kind of, you know, goes the opposite way and is like, no, like I need to do this for me. And like if you aren't gonna respect me, then like blah 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 whatnot, you know. So like it got better and like there was growth and like development and whatnot, but like I just still couldn't vibe with it ever since like those first lines where it was like, I need to serve this man kind of thing. And so that is why I'm like, I'm still excited about reading other books by this author. I think like the story was really good and whatnot. It was just like that one little aspect really bugged me and I couldn't get over it. So yeah, I feel bad putting it there because I know so many other people love it and there were a lot of great things about it, but that it just like that one thing really bugged me. So I couldn't not. Okay, so this next book, Cemetery Boys. This is not like any other book that I've read before. It was really something brand new to me, and I loved it. So I'm going to put it here in the I love you one, I think. I'm debating whether it should go up here or in the I love you. This is a hard decision. I might put it up here for now and like see what happens. But either way, obviously I love it. This book is basically about a trans boy and his journey to being identified as a man or brujo in his community. And it's just so good. It also is like a murder mystery with supernatural elements. Like, it's just everything you want in a book. Am I right? So, yes, I just really enjoyed it. It was a great time. It's going up here. It was so good. It's, like I said, like nothing else that I've read before. I really enjoyed it. All right. So, these two, Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron, are again going straight to the top. Anything that has Will Herondale in it is gonna go straight to the top for me. So I really can't say anything more. Will Herondale, love it. Done. Concrete Rose, another book that I feel like is going straight to the top. I love anything that Angie Thomas writes. All of her books are just gold. They are wonderful. So those go straight to the top. Here's, yeah, I knew I read the other one too. And so that one was Concrete Rose. This one is On the Come Up. Just all very good books. So those are going up there. Evidence of the Affair. So I can tell you now, anything that I've read by Taylor Jenkins Reid is like going straight to the top. I love how she tells her stories in such like a different way. Like, for example, like Daisy Jones and the Six and the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo were both like kind of interview storytelling. So like it was told through interviews. And then this Evidence of the Affairs is told through like two people writing letters back and forth to each other. So like you're just reading the letters and that's the entire book. And I just am a fan of any book that can be told in a different way like that. So I'm not sure if all of her books ever are like that, but if they are, I feel like they're all going to be straight at the top for me. So that's going there. Very similar to that one, Sadie is also told in a different way, and it's kind of told through a podcast. So similar to what I was saying about the last one, anything that's told in a different way, I'm going to enjoy it. So it's going straight up there too. Let's see. Faith, Taking Flight. I'm going to put this in, come on guys, let's get it together. I went into this book, like looking at the cover, looking at everything. I thought it was going to be a graphic novel, and then it wasn't. So that kind of disappointed me a little bit. And then I read the story, and it was pretty good, but it also just felt like kind of childish to me. Like it felt very young the entire time I was reading it. And like maybe this is my misunderstanding where I thought it was like a YA book or something, and maybe it's like middle grade or like something like that, but it just read very young to me. So this is probably another case of like my expectations were different from what it actually was, and so that's why it's rated a little bit lower for me. So it's gonna go there. Let's see, these next books. Illuminae, Gemini, and Obsidio. These, again, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but these are told in a different way as well. So similar to the ones I've already put up there, these are all going to the top. These are basically told, first of all, in space. So that's fun. And second, it's like told through reports, pictures, diagrams, and video cam surveillance and stuff like that. And so it's just really fun. It was a great read. I enjoyed it a lot. These audiobooks are a full cast audiobook. And so they are so good to read. Like every character has their own voice. Like they have additional sounds in there for like the computers, and it's just amazing. What I actually did was listen to the audio while I was flipping through the book because they are both so distinct and like excellent experiences that you cannot, I say cannot, only do one. You have to do both. You have to. It's so good. So I love those books. Yes. Done. Next one, the guest list. This is, I think it's gonna go in I Love You. I really enjoyed this book. At times, I thought it was a little slow, but obviously, like when things really started happening at the ending, it was like boom, 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 boom. But I read this in one sitting. I really enjoyed it. This was my first Lucy Foley book, so I don't know if all of her other books are like this, but I loved how there were like the different perspectives. And so you were like hearing people's history from like different people, and you know the current situation you were hearing from all the different people. I just really loved that. So yes, I'm very good. Loved this book. Let's see, Hating Game. Now before anyone comes at me, I know people love this book. I have friends who love this book. But I just don't think it worked for me. I'm so sorry to say that, but it didn't. And here's why. So this book is supposed to be like enemies to lovers, basically, right? Like it's a hating game. They start out hating each other. It's a romance. At the end, they love each other, right? This book, to me, felt like instead of being like the nice slow progression where you are like, hey, we hate each other, we start to learn a little bit about each other, we start to understand each other now, hey, now we're starting to like actually like each other since we understand you better, to the like full on love. There's usually, I feel like, a slow progression through that entire time period. Versus this book, it just felt so flippy floppy to me. I feel like there were times where it would be like, I'm so into you. Like, I love you so much. And it's like, wait. No, I hate you. I hate you. And I'm like, I just couldn't deal with it. So for me, unfortunately, and I realize this is very controversial, everyone else loves this book. But for me, I'm going to put it in this, come on guys, let's get it together. Next one, we have the Heartstopper series. Now this series, let me tell ya, straight to the top. Straight to the top. I love everything about these books. They are just so adorable. Like the artwork in these, adorable. The story, adorable. Like, I mean, there are like tough times, like, you know, they deal with things, but I would always leave these books just feeling complete bliss. Like they just put me in such a good mood. They are so adorable. They are beautiful, like everything about them. Straight to the top. This is the definition of she is an icon, she is a legend, and she is the moment. Like these have to move up. These aren't even in order. Like these buckets are definitely not in order of like what I like more versus what I like less, but these are going up there. So I don't know what else I have to say about that. Like they're graphic novels, they're adorable, pretty quick reads. 100% take your hour or two to read it. It is so good. So good. In holidays, I don't know how other people feel about this book, but for me, it's definitely going in come in, guys. Let's get together. I loved the relationship. I loved the like family friends to lovers. Like it was just very cute. Loved that side of it. The only complaint I have with this book is it's basically pitched as a romance version of Groundhog Day, where like you relive the same day over and over and over, right? That only happened for like 50 pages of the book. After that, like 50 is not exact number, but it basically happened for just like very short amount of time. And then the rest of the book was just a normal book, like normal romance, like nothing exceptional about it. Like I said, it was good. I enjoyed it. I loved the relationship. It was cute. But when you pitch it as a Groundhog's Day kind of book, I expect it to actually be a prevalent part of the story. And it wasn't. Inheritance games, this one, ooh, I'm trying to decide whether it goes in love or an icon. I think I'm gonna leave it in love, but I really love this book. Basically, this book is about this like random girl, our main character, is given this huge inheritance from this guy that she's never like met. She knows nothing about him, but basically to get this inheritance, she needs to live in the same house, his mansion, which is part of her inheritance, with the rest of the family for like a year. And so this book is basically they're trying to figure out like why her? Like what is this relationship between all these family members? Like what's going on? And it gave me very like escape room vibes because like there's riddles and like puzzles and all these different things. And I will tell you, I love escape rooms. So I really enjoyed this book. And yeah, it's gonna go in the I love you bucket. Next one, Long Way Down. Boy, did they do a lot in such a short amount of time. This entire book takes place in one elevator ride down. That's the entire book, is one elevator ride. And it is so good. It is so emotional. Like the artwork in this is absolutely stellar. The first thing, like before I even started reading this book, I was on like the title page or like the dedication page, and I was like, this artwork, I'm obsessed with it. And just the fact that they could make so much happen, so much emotionally happen in one elevator ride absolutely blows me away. Again, a graphic novel, pretty short, definitely worth your time. Such a good book. Very, very good. Love Hypothesis. Sorry, not sorry, just like everyone else. It's going straight to the top for me. This, I think, was like the first romance that I read that like got me into this romance genre. And so I think just between that, it being the first, and I mean, it's a really good book, I think, in general. It has like the grumpy sunshine, and it has like a little bit, kind not really enemies to lovers, but like, I don't know, grumpy sunshine for sure. And I love anytime that there's like, I love or I hate everyone else in the world except for you kind of vibes. And like, that's exactly what's here. So just, yes, I was here for it. Very good. I am definitely picking up everything else that she like writes. I've already like have on pre-order her like 3 novella like little things and the new book that she's writing for this year. So I'm hyped. I loved it. I'm here for it. Yes, it's going in. She's an icon. She's a legend. She's a moment. Okay, one to watch. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's not really a secret, but I am definitely a bachelorette watcher. And this book was just like really fun. And it seemed like less toxic than the actual show. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you are into The Bachelor, Bachelorette, I would definitely suggest this. It gives you the same vibes, but just in like written form rather than reality TV form. So yeah, it's a fun time. Pride and Premeditation. This, another little secret. I love Pride and Prejudice so much. So obviously this one hooked me. And then it's also like a murder mystery in Pride and Prejudice. So like, what's to dislike? You tell me. I can't think of anything. Anyways, right up here. I love it. Next book, The Prince and the Dressmaker. This is another really fun, just like short graphic novel. This one is about the prince who wants to dress up in these beautiful dresses and shoes and do his hair and whatnot. And it's just a very cute book. It was adorable. Next one, Pumpkinheads. This is another just like really lighthearted, fun book. And this is definitely perfect for fall. It gives you all the fall vibes that you need. Like it's at a pumpkin patch. They do all the pumpkin patch activities. Like it's just super cute. Very well like graphic novel side of it. Like nice artwork. And yeah, definitely gets you in the mood for fall. So would highly suggest. Next one, Scythe. Now this book, I know some people don't like it, but I loved that YA dystopian phase. Like the peak of Hunger Games and Divergent and like all of those books. Peak YA phase or YA dystopian. I loved those that's the time period. So this book gave me those same feels where it is that like dystopian story. Absolutely loved it personally. I do think the Scythe in my mind was revolutionary, and then as the books like went on, you know, it just became more of the story, and that might be because I read them like pretty close together, so maybe I was just getting burnt out on the story, but because of that, I do have the second and third ones a little bit lower, but still, I loved this, was a great time. Yes. Very similar to that. Let me find that one. Oh, it was the next one. Renegades. I felt the same way about this book. This book is basically like a superhero dystopian type of book. And also we're like our main character is on the villain side, and so that's fun. So again, it gave me that like YA dystopian kind of mood, so I really enjoyed that. And again, the second and third books just not revolutionary to me anymore after that first book, so they're a little bit lower, but still really enjoyed them. So yes, those are my throwback to that time period books. Here's the seven lives or husbands, the seven husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And like I mentioned before, this one's the Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I thought I had it on this list, but clearly I did not see it to pull it up. But I'll put it right up here with the other Taylor Jenkins Reid. Next one, Stargirl. I'm going to put this one in Come On Guys, Let's Get It Together. So I see what was trying to be done with this book, maybe, but it just did not vibe with me, certain parts of this book, like the fact that our main character was telling Stargirl like, oh, I love you the way you are, but everyone else doesn't, so you have to change to be okay with all of them. And it's like, don't BS us. Like, we all know that you also have that same opinion as everyone else. You want her to change as well. And then also the fact that she does so willingly just like change herself. It was just like very disappointing to see that in this book. All right, these books. These books. It's the Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Tapestry, and the Tea Dragon Festival. These three books are freaking adorable. They are, again, more like graphic novel type books, and they are, again, just pure bliss. These little tea dragons, if you just like look up the cover and like look at how freaking adorable these little tea dragons are, they are adorable. And like the story is just as adorable. They worked to like add some representation in here, and like the art is beautiful. Like just everything about this is wonderful. I love these. They are so adorable and just, like I said, pure bliss. I love these little tea dragons. I want like a little plush tea dragon of my own, or like 12 of them. I don't know. Maybe 12 of them. They're so freaking adorable. Love those books. The Test. This book, okay, let me group this one with This Is Not the Just Show. These books gave me very Black Mirror vibes, and I love Black Mirror as like that show. It just like messes with your mind so much, and both of these like definitely those same vibes. So yeah, they're going up there. Next one, They Both Die at the End. This book had me. It tells you right on the cover that they die at the end. And yet, I was still absolutely crying at the end of the book. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. It was great. Again, please don't hate me for what I have to do. But Sarah J. Maas books, I went through a ton of them this year, and I like Selena and the Throne of Glass series that I've read so far. But the ACOTAR, which I know everyone's obsessed with, is not something I'm obsessed with. I'm not going to say it's bad, because I definitely don't think that. But I also am just definitely not as into it as everyone else is. And I think that's mostly because of that transition where it went from like in the first book, I mean like mini spoilers, I guess, so like watch out. But in the first book, she is like so obsessed with Tamlin. And then like second, third, etc., whatever, she is so obsessed with Rhysand. And that transition just like didn't do it for me. I was like, why would you have even written this like first book if you were just gonna like change it immediately? And like obviously it adds to like some of the plot and like what happens later in the books, so like I get it, but also like it just really frustrated me, and that frustrates me a little bit in the Throne of Glass series too, because I feel like Selena also like just switches who she's interested in, or like men, like all the time, and it's just like kind of annoying to me. But like in Throne of Glass, it isn't as drastic as in ACOTAR. So that's that. In general, I would say I definitely enjoy the Throne of Glass more for that reason. And I will say that I'm probably biased against these books and like didn't go into it with a clear mind because I was so frustrated with that transition from Tamlin to Rhys. But also it's just the fact that that's what it was. So that's where I'm at. Alternatively, I really enjoyed these Assassin Blade like novella series thing. It's basically like a bunch of different mini stories about Selena before she got where she was in the Throne of Glass books, and I just really enjoyed it. It's probably because the stories were changing so much and all of them were good. Like in some books, similar to this, like My True Love Gave to Me, where it's a bunch of like mini stories to put together. Like there are some good ones and some bad ones, but I think all of these in Assassin's Blade were really good. So I am very happy with that mini story set thing. Um, and then Crescent City. I think I enjoyed it more just because it was something different and something new. So it wasn't, ACOTAR or Throne of Glass, obviously. Wow, I'm stating facts here. Anyways, I think I definitely needed that like little bit of a break into something else. But also I'm like, I don't think it needed to be 1,000+ pages. So like that's kind of annoying. I feel like all of her books kind of like go on for too long. I was like, is this really necessary? Like maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm like misunderstanding something. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I feel like all of her books are just like a tad bit too long. And Crescent City was like a lot too long. And it's probably just like a me mental thing. I'm like, if it was broken into two books, maybe I would have loved it, you know? But yeah, that was not great. But again, I still actually enjoyed it. I appreciate that it was something different, and I'm still excited for the next book. So, that being said, now that I've spilled all my tea out there, um, I think I will actually put all of these in the cool. And now after moving them, they're all mixed up, but whatever. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put them all in the cool. Enjoyed all of them. Yeah, you already heard my spiel. Anyways, and then the last book, Well Met. So this year was my first year going to the Renaissance Fair ever in my life, and I was here for it. It was a fun time. And so this book is all about like a romance at a Renaissance fair. So like I was just appreciating the vibes. And so I think it's gonna go here. And I love you. All right. So that being said, that was all the books that I read this year. And I am going to just do one final look through and show you guys the entire list, but I think that's a good ranking for all of the books that I read in 2021. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I feel like things are properly grouped. So yeah, I think that's the final list. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I really enjoyed doing this. I'm really excited to share all of my favorite books with you guys. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe down below. And go ahead and leave in the comments what were your top books in 2021. I'd love to know so that I can start adding them to my TBR if I haven't already read them. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Keep reading.